Adam and I caught up to you, Dean, and we watched A Star Is Born.
Uh-huh. And you weren't overwhelmed with it. I have to say something about that. When I saw it, it was like a rock concert because everybody was so excited. The guy was there and everything, Bradley Cooper and everything. That could have affected my my opinion of the movie, but it could have made it higher than it normally would be. But so I should say that I have to see it again because sometimes on a second viewing, sometimes the bloom can come off the rose pretty quickly. But
I understand. I'd be excited if Cooper were there too, talking about it. And
yeah.
And speaking of rock concert, man, if you go see A Star Is Born out there, try to see it in like a theater with the best sound possible. Because I saw it
incredible sound
at an AMC Dolby theater.
I did too.
It was the damn. It was vibrating my seat.
Yeah.
And you're right, Dean. It felt like a rock concert. And I mean that's really what's so what pops more than anything in this movie. It's just the incredible detail to the sound and the experience of being in an actual concert.
Yeah, they really put you there. Put you there on the stage.
Think about that when you see musicals like that, and you don't know what's missing until you actually see it done in A Star Is Born. You're like, oh my God! Every other movie of this ilk seems very canned in its music compared to this one. And it's good music by and large. They're really good original songs in there.
There weren't any bad, terrible songs in it. That you were just
except
looking
when it
at
was
your
supposed
watch.
to be.
Yeah.
But you weren't overwhelmed by it.
I mean, I had problems with it. I got to tell you, I love the first half. A crybaby like me, I was crying a lot in the first half, but not in the second when things go really bad. But the first half, I'm just so turned on by talent, and so I get so inspired and kind of teary-eyed over talent, and everybody's so great in that movie. The performances are just so off the charts wonderful, and there's such honesty in those performances that I was very moved by it on that level.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean the first half is a little bit more exciting because it's just a better experience watching a star rise than a star fall. I mean the second half is very dour and downbeat, and it's just not as happy an experience, nowhere near. But that's
I mean, I thought about that because I remember years ago my co-manager at the movie theater was like, "Yeah, I love Goodfellas, but man, that second half just falls flat." And I was like, "Well, that's his downfall," and it's about the adrenaline kind of fading away. And so that's normal. I never felt that way about Goodfellas. So I was questioning myself, is that what I'm reacting to? But there are specific story character points that I think contributed to my involvement waning in the second half. And it was this distance between them where I didn't feel like for you to believe in that love story and their level of intimacy, she seemed in the dark and not as interested in him as she should have been.
You're right.
I think the problem is the writing with her character in the second half.
And also, there seems to be a larger space between them. There's not a lot of scenes with them together in that second half.
And I understand on one level because I do like the scene where she visits him in rehab, because there is this awkward thing of like, how do we broach this? Are you a changed person? Am I a changed person? I mean, there is that moment there. But she is completely oblivious, nor is she interested in what's happening with him and his career and whatever he might be going through.
Yeah.
I would have liked for her to have known more and wanted to know more. And plus, this didn't bother me as much, but it kind of gnawed on me that everything he tells her when they get in that big fight and he insults her in the bathtub, everything he tells her is dead on. I mean, it's correct. She's betraying herself. She's turning herself ugly. She's not, does she ever realize that? It seems like there's a beat. It seems like there's a beat missing where it might have benefited from her actually, when he sings her that song that he wrote for her, maybe her realizing then. Or maybe we're supposed to think she realizes it by the last scene and she performs it. Maybe.
Yeah. It'll probably end up, getting a big target on its back and people will tear it down. But I still liked it and loved it even, and thought it was beautifully made, especially for a first-time director. And
generally, I do too. I mean, I didn't leave unhappy. I mean, I hate to nitpick, but that's what we do.
Yep.
Yeah. What do you think, Adam?
Yeah.
I think I'm kind of on Jamie's side on this because I felt like it is good. It's a good movie, but I don't think it's a great movie, if that makes any sense. There's a lot to embrace. There's a lot to like about it. But I felt like one of the things that, and I don't know how they could work this in here, but we really didn't get any sense of his romantic past. Not that plays into their relationship, but maybe, I don't know, has he been hurt in the past by somebody?
I don't think that, none of the other movies do that.
No, that's true.
So,
but I don't know. I don't know. Part of me wanted to know a little bit more about that. I don't know why, but I thought, because
there is that one moment where Sam Elliott's like, he invited you on stage, blah blah blah, and he's never done that with anyone before.
That's true.
So
that's true.
You know how special. I felt the love story more through him than through her character. It's not her fault. But I mean, if anything, from her side, it felt more like loyalty. Which is different from love.
Yeah.
In many ways.
But there's some really good stuff in there. The Sam Elliott stuff is terrific. That's superb. Like you said, the first half is the ascendancy of their relationship.
It's more fun,
Yeah, that's great. There's a lot of good stuff there, and so I don't mean to give the impression that that people shouldn't be seeing this, because they really should see it. It's good. It's just it's not. But I still think the 1954 version is still the best. Probably this may be equal to it or pretty close, but I still think I don't think this is going to unseat that one for me as being the one that I really think nailed it.
As a real classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
And Gaga, when she sings, though, I mean, God.
Oh.
Her singing.
And all that stuff is live,
Yeah.
Yeah. That scene in the club where she's singing, where he hears her singing for the first time, that's just amazing. Wasn't La Vie en Rose, I believe?
Yeah.
Yeah, that gave me goose pimples, to be honest.
Yeah.
It really did. It was that good.
I love that shot of her looking at him for the first time, as she, that's great. But, I think I need to see it again to give it a more measured once over,
It's got great humor in it.
It does. It's extremely entertaining.
I can't emphasize enough how, he's been around forever, but and he's been on a roll these past few years with some great parts. But how revelatory Sam Elliott feels in this movie, and it feels like the most emotional performance he's given in a long, long time, if ever. And there's one scene that's so great where, and I'll always remember this scene because it moved me a lot, when Bradley Cooper's trying to tell him that he's his hero, or that he inspires him, and how difficult it is to express that, and it takes him forever, and it's so genuine. and I just felt, man, that's such a beautiful human moment that is so truthfully played. That section really moved me. But can we talk about the F word?
I was getting ready to say that. I was just getting ready. You read my mind. That was
now that's something that I'm pretty sensitive to these days, but I did not notice it as much. And
I did.
You did?
And I'm not approved by any stretch of the imagination, and normally it doesn't bother me a bit. And I don't. My mother was with me, so maybe that had something to do with it.
Yeah,
my mother's 75 years old, and so and she was getting it was a little too much for her, and that's but I had to agree with Jamie on that. These are artists, for crying out loud, and it seemed like that was the only. I mean, they were using the F word. They were dropping it as much as Scarface or The Wolf of Wall Street here. I mean, come on.
That's funny. I did not notice it at all. But we like Wolf of Wall Street. And,
I mean, the record holders for the F word, those are some of my favorite movies. So it's not that the word offends me. It's just that it seems like almost like they were improvising, and the only impulse they had was to keep saying the F word. You're effing this. No, you're effing this. You're effing this. It went on and on and on.
Yeah. It just got boring.
Yeah, okay.
I just got bored with it. I thought, of all the words in the English language, and you just keep returning to this one, it's just, I don't know.
It's funny. I didn't notice it at all. I'm sensitive to that stuff, and maybe I'll notice it more on the second go round.
Yeah,
it's like I was watching a lot of old Siskel and Ebert clips yesterday, and they reviewed Poltergeist 3. They were both like, my God, the number of times characters call out, Carol Ann! And that's kind of what it felt like for me with the F word.
It's just to be an irritant. Yeah.
Yeah.